Hey everyone, it's Megan Meyer. Danette had asked me to come talk to you guys a little bit about my journey with Pure Romance at our March meeting, but I was unable to attend. I was up in Buffalo doing a training with those girls, and so I wanted to take the time to make this video to kind of let you know how I've gotten to where I am in this business and I don't know, I guess share a little bit about my story. So I've been in business since May of 2011. I was laid off and went to a party the next day and got drunk and was like, oh, I know how that works. I got 6 of those at home. Do you need a volunteer? And the consultant that night pulled me aside and she said, girl, I know you don't have any money and you can't afford to buy anything, but have you ever thought about doing this? You seem to know an awful lot about the products. And I told her, I can't do that. I go to church, because I thought that's what you were supposed to say. And she said, well, I go to church too, and I haven't been struck by lightning yet. So I went home, I told my boyfriend, no husband, and he was like, what's the worst that can happen? If you suck at it, you get a box of discounted sex toys, and if you do well, maybe you can pay your bills. So it took me about 2 weeks, but I eventually bought a kit and had no idea what this was going to turn into. So it's been a journey, it's been a whirlwind, and when I try to go back and look and identify specific steps that I did that led to where I am today, there was not one, big moment. It just kind of all avalanched. You start small and then it gets bigger and then it gets bigger and it takes on a life of its own, and it's just crazy. So I never thought this would be a full-time gig. I thought this would just tide me over until I got another real job. But by 3 months in, I was paying my mortgage. By 5 months in, my boyfriend proposed. And that's the point when I was just like, this is a full-time gig. I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do with it. So look for opportunities. The minute I started my business, I knew that it was a business. I didn't want to treat it like a hobby. I had previously sold Avon and it was a hobby, and I didn't really have a support system. And so I knew that if I was going to do this and if I was going to actually do this to make money and pay my bills, that I needed to learn what I didn't know. So I went to tons of networking events. My bank has a small business newsletter that let me know about different small business opportunities. I went to small business workshops. Basically, anytime the word small business popped up in my feed on Facebook or in the news, I followed that rabbit hole and met a ton of great people. I also networked with other direct sales consultants that were doing well in their respective businesses. So I joined like a group of kids that would get together like weekly or bi-weekly for coffee and just learn best practices like follow-up systems and identifying new customers and customer loyalty programs. And that was really awesome to be able to learn from people who were in this line of work and doing it well, even though we weren't like in direct competition with each other. I looked for every vendor opportunity I could get my hands on. So I remember I got started in May, and in like June or July, there was a big wedding festivals at the convention center here in town. And so I was hoping to some point be engaged. So I decided to go and scope it out, see if there was any other Pure Romance consultants there, kind of see what booth setups were like and talk to people. So I was going like business mind. And I forgot to kind of take into account that the people there who were working it were also looking for leads, not for me. So I walked around and I immediately spotted the Pure Romance booth that was staffed by Beth Lindsay, whoop, whoop, and Melissa Ratliff, who used to be on Heather Dolan's team. And I introduced myself, and they're trying to talk to brides, and I'm being so annoying, like, if you guys ever need help at a future event, I'd love to participate, blah, blah, blah. But unbeknownst to me, that's what started my friendship with Beth, who I count amongst one of my dear, dear friends. So I'm really glad that I put myself out there and annoyed her for a hot second, because now we get to work these wedding festivals together, and it's been a whole lot of fun. I also looked for just any opportunity where I could set up a booth, a ladies' night at a bar, those paint and wine nights, anytime that I could find girls' nights or ladies' nights or networking events or vendor opportunities. Like, I just had my radar up, and I just asked, and the worst anyone could tell me was no, but then I'd probably still go and check it out. And if they told me no, it was probably something I didn't want to participate in anyway. The only times I was ever told no was by churches, and that's a whole nother thing. So screw that. I found other opportunities. I'd book a party instead if I couldn't make it to that event. So treat your business like a business and look for opportunities. Parties aren't going to fall in your lap. You have to go out and find new customers. Share your knowledge with other consultants. So if you're brand new in the business, don't be afraid to introduce yourself. But also, a good consultant's going to be open. They're not going to look at you as competition. They're not going to be threatened by you. So go to other people's team meetings. We didn't have any meetings in the upstate at that time, so I went to Shea Jordan's a couple times when I heard about the meetings in Charlotte. I got to go up there. I went to the first national training that was offered. And y'all, I did that on a budget. All right, so I waited to the last day to register. So registration fees were increased. Amanda, my sponsor, and I booked a hotel room. So it was just the two of us in a hotel room. And I think I ate Easy Mac and ramen for every meal that wasn't provided by corporate. But it made the biggest difference in my business. It really did. So I came back with I had a party average of maybe $100 maybe profit at a party, and immediately bumped that up to $170 with the knowledge I learned. And that was $70 more a couple times a week in my pocket. That adds up real quick. And I see it every single time I go to a training. I see my party average and my profit average always go up. So go to trainings, show up to go up. If you've met me before, you know that I'm huge on showing up. So show up. There's no reason for you not to have these dates on your calendar. Corporate does a real good job about letting us know when things are coming to our area. And if it's a priority, and if this business is going to be a priority, you're going to make those trainings a priority. And it's fine if you don't, but you can't complain that your business is not where you want it to be when you can't prioritize showing up to these trainings to meet and learn from people who are killing it in their businesses. So show up, go to things, meet new people, go to other people's team meetings. If you're living in an area and you can't make it to a certain team meeting, maybe it's childcare issues, figure out when the next team meeting in your area is going to be. There's no consultant that I've met that's going to kick you out of a team meeting just because you're not on their team. That's some crazy BS. I'm a firm believer in karma. Treat your business with the respect that you would treat anybody else's business. And just do what's right. Trust your gut. So don't poach other people's clients. Don't poach other people's leads. Don't talk crap about other consultants. And don't knowingly bring your sisters down. I know some people think that that is just supposed to happen when you get a group of women together, that it's supposed to be catty and there's always going to be drama, but that doesn't have to be the case. And it's really frustrating when it ends up happening because we're supposed to be building each other up in this business. We're supposed to be empowering women, and tearing each other down hurts all of us. So be good. Remember the golden rule. Don't create unnecessary drama, especially if you're in leadership. Don't do that. Don't do it. That's not going to help you get your business where you want it to be. And what else? Don't participate in gossip. Don't backstab. Oh, gossip is a big one. And don't poison the well. So something that was kind of impressed upon me early on was if you're going to complain, complain up. So don't poison your waters if you had a bad month or if your team didn't do what you wanted them to do. Don't take it to them, because why would they want to work for you if you're just going to be a negative Nancy? Take it to someone that you trust. Take it to your upline if you're close with them. Take it to someone you respect in the business, because chances are what you're complaining about doesn't matter in the long run. So why feed that negative energy down to your team when it could stay positive? Because that's not going to help anybody. If you do have an issue with a consultant, take it to them. All right, don't involve a million other people. Just take it directly to the person that you have an issue with. I know in the South we're supposed to be like demure and polite, but if you're talking smack about other people to a million other people, of course it's going to get around to that person, because that's exactly what you intended it to do, and that's just going to create more drama. So don't do that. Just take it to that person, and if it's a non-issue, then just bless it and release it. Is it going to help anybody in the long run by harboring resentment? Probably not. So while I was in Buffalo, the two classes I taught were charting your success, and it was how to look at your business's history to predict where it's going to go. And then I also did a class on finances. Now, I come from a nonprofit background. I married an accountant. I've always been about fundraising and development and getting money, and I never made a lot of money, so I was always very careful about where it was going. So I'll make sure to share those links with you guys if those are things you're interested in watching. Each of those videos is about an hour long, so make sure you've got some popcorn and a glass of wine ready. But I really think having a strategic plan for my business and my growth has helped me set realistic goals, set attainable goals, smart goals, and the more I'm able to be clear about those with myself and with my team members of why this number is the way it is for March versus why it is, a little bit lower in May, because I have 5 years of history that I can go back and track. But you should be growing your business. You never want your business to stagnate. And then making sure you're investing your cash wisely. I know right now with the first quarter, it's really exciting because we get a ton of money because everyone has their tax refunds and it's Valentine's Day. And then we spend it all. And then in May, when it's really hard to get parties to hold because it's nice weather and weekends are really busy, we're like, oh my God, this business sucks. I suck so much, blah, blah, blah. No, if you're just a little bit smarter about where that money goes when you're earning a ton of money, then it'll tide you through the slower months. So when you start tracking your business early on and you set good financial habits in place, it will definitely help you succeed. So I'm not going to say, oh, the path to success is lined with best friends, because friends are great, but a lot of us didn't get into this business thinking we'd make our new best friends. If it happens, it's amazing. I've met some amazing women who I'm so thankful that Pure Romance has brought them into my life. But friends don't necessarily get you to where you're going. So we always say you're in business for yourself, but never by yourself. So it's nice to have a support system, but at the end of the day, you're accountable for your actions. So if your business succeeds, that's your fault. If your business fails, that's your fault. So you can't push that blame on anybody else. So if you know where you're going, you know what you want to accomplish, and you set attainable, realistic steps to get to that. If you haven't read Eat That Frog, read Eat That Frog. That's amazing. That's a great book. That's up there on my shelf of awesome. And just continue to stay a student and learn what you don't know. And be a good sister. Be the type of sister that you would want to bring on to your team. So Darren Hardy spoke at our Vegas training last summer, and he did a really good analogy where he was making a list of his all the qualities his perfect partner would possess. And instead of just waiting for this miracle lady to fall into his lap, he then flipped it and said, what qualities would that caliber of woman want in a partner? What do I have to become to attract that type of person? So that's something that I think a lot of us can take to heart. What type of leader do I want to be? What type of consultant do I want to be so I can attract and retain amazing, positive, fantastic consultants who meet their goals and have successful businesses and are dependable? And I think that's a great way for you guys to kind of start thinking about ways you can improve yourself, because no one walks into this business knowing exactly what it takes to be successful. And nobody walks into this business and doesn't learn something about themselves or their leadership style or faults that they may possess. So if you're open about wanting to grow yourself as a person, that's definitely going to lead to your success. It might not lead to the most comfortable conversations, but they're necessary conversations to have. So I guess that kind of wraps up where I've been, where I'm going. I think in 5 years of business, I'm not ashamed to be really proud of what I've achieved. I've been on President's Club for 4 years. 5 months into the business, I was asked to participate in the Future Leaders Program. And that taught me so many life skills. I've won 7 trips now with Pure Romance. It's paid for a wedding, a house, my student loans, a car, LASIK, emergency surgery, debt, right? So it's done more for me than any of my real jobs has ever done. And I've also learned a lot about myself and my skills as a business owner. And I'm excited to see where it's going to take me. I know that I worked really hard for 5 years to get to where I am today, and I'm not done. I'm not done working hard. I don't think there's ever going to be a spot in your business where you can be like, I did it. I can sit back, relax, collect my override, and not work so hard ever again. Because that's not the business model. You have to continually be cycling through and learning more and staying up to date with how the business is changing, because the business is always changing. So I hope that was helpful. I hope it wasn't too incredibly long-winded. And I hope I get to meet a lot of you guys that I haven't met yet. I know we've had a lot of new girls come onto the Team Carolinas group. So I hope to see a lot of you at conference in Orlando. And if you're not going to Orlando, then I really hope to meet you in Cincinnati. I know the bus tour this summer, probably the closest for all of us, is going to be Atlanta. So I hope you'll come down to Atlanta and introduce yourself, say hi. Don't ever think that just because someone might be a different level than you or they're where you would like to be in a couple years, that you're not worthy of their time and attention. Go up and introduce yourself. Meet the people that you look up to. And identify really amazing role models, because they're everywhere in this business. So thanks again. I'm not going to let this run too long, but I hope to see you guys very soon.